The central epistemological rupture in modern physics arises from a direct mathematical incompatibility between general relativity's smooth, continuous manifolds and the discrete quantized matrices of quantum mechanics. This ontological clash regarding the nature of mathematical reality triggers systemic analytical failure precisely at the boundary where these two frameworks meet. In the crisis of compactness, continuous evaluation maps fail to be surjective, meaning they cannot bound the physical reality they attempt to describe. The mathematical representation effectively leaks toward undefined infinities. Standard analytical models typically attempt to smooth over this rupture. They treat the failure of analytical closure as a mere artifact of parameterization or an algorithmic error to be discarded. This discarded data represents the exact energetic cost required to generate a stable, finite physical universe. The mathematical friction at the boundary is a requirement for structural stability. Computational metaphysics argues that reality is extracted ex totalitate, funneled out of a boundless totality, rather than the traditional bottom-up construction ex nihilo from an empty void. The theory of infinity governs this extraction. The infinite plenum represents unconstrained continuous noise. The stabilizing symmetry operator forces this chaotic plenum into a restricted pathway. This funnels through not infinity, anchoring the flux into the bounded golden set. The resulting phenomenon is the golden set, or theta. Unlike the empty set, the golden set constitutes a maximally stable, definitively bounded contextual environment. Physical reality exists as a strictly compressed subspace, appearing only where invariant symmetry principles prevent the continuous abyss from washing away structural form. To bridge this gap, we must explain how mathematical data crosses the dimensional rift from a continuous spatial geometry into a strictly discrete limit without mutating or losing its identity. Transport is managed by the tripartite morphology, in architecture preserving invariant truths. The worm acts as the bounding manifold, preventing the mathematical loop from fracturing. The worm, the efficient cause, is the active vehicle, tunneling through the continuum to absorb geometric friction. The wirem is the final cause. This is the absolute, immutable mathematical invariant, the pristine geometry that must emerge from the journey completely uncorrupted. Data integrity is maintained by the trimodal invariance rule, or TMIR. This protocol demands that a mathematical structure prove absolute structural coherence across geometric, algebraic, and discrete projections simultaneously. Without the TMIR auditing process, valid numerical outputs are frequently misidentified as scalar camouflage, dense computational noise that mimics floating point errors while obscuring embedded harmonic invariance. Nash-Moser topological friction is the measurable, aggressive geometric resistance generated when a smooth, continuous trigonometric function is mapped onto a rigid, discrete integer rail. The TMIR permanently types these numerical residuals as the exact energetic cost of crystallization, forbidding the system from discarding them as mere error. To process this mathematical heat, the framework employs the Amanda root engine, a cybernetic state-space matrix designed to metabolize continuous dynamics into discrete topological updates. The engine executes a fate check to isolate the topological gap, then funnels that tension through a boundary hinge to prevent the analytical manifold from crashing. The light-witness equation provides the algebraic proof of this metabolism. It forces a continuous trigonometric wave into direct conflict with a discrete Fibonacci lattice. The discrete constraint acts as an absolute dimensional lock. It strips away the continuous, imaginary trajectories to yield exactly one principal positive real root. The invariant gap acts as a site of measurable mathematical heat, where discrete geometric truths are extracted under extreme dimensional pressure. System C serves as an extreme test of topological boundaries. This complex phase system is constructed entirely from Fibonacci parameters. Its negative discriminant causes the real mathematical domain to fail. The continuum escapes entirely into the complex plane, leaving zero real solutions. Even within this complex abyss, the imaginary components maintain an exact invariant relationship, governed by the original Fibonacci parameters. The underlying structural proportion, the invariant worm, remains intact and perfectly conserved within the complex phase. Physical reality is restored through an octic parity inversion lift, resulting in System O. Swapping the lighter and heavier Fibonacci coefficients to opposing equation degrees actively reverses the discriminant sign from strictly negative to strictly positive. This reversal mathematically restores the viability of real observables, proving that structural reality can be recovered from total complex collapse. This parity inversion principle scales to the double ORC polynomial system, where the equations are elevated to degrees of 64 and 32. At these exponents, the system generates an immense descriptive abyss containing exactly 2,048 distinct complex solutions, a vast sea of representational noise. The strict Fibonacci bounds operate as a dimensional lock against this abyss. By applying the universal modality neutralizer, the system executes a precise mathematical twist that completely strips away 2,040 formal complex branches. Exactly 8 distinct real topological anchor points remain, forming a pristine geometric skeleton. This reduction from 2,048 possibilities to 8 anchors demonstrates compactification by motion. Moving through an infinite descriptive abyss yields a single, stable, invariant residue. This mirrors the way geometric connections convert infinite potential trajectories into a single measurable holonomy. Conclusive. The continuous discrete rupture provides the generative engine required to compactify an infinite abyss of noise into the inescapable geometry of reality.